I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go. The only thing that I know, you were my gravity, but now I had to leave. I will let you go. Why do you think that I want? Why do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity. 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 I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome as we begin the playoffs for Season 8 of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Just the Cup Series here this weekend. We'll see the Light Series begin their playoffs next week at Road America. But at the conclusion of Auto Club last weekend, we now know the 16 drivers that are going to be battling for this season's championship. 10 drivers got in through points, 6 drivers got in through wildcard spots. The point stands have been reformatted. There are 20 points separating our 16 drivers, depending on how many wins or lack thereof they had during the course of the first 26 races. And we kick things off here this afternoon at Gateway. Third time that this track has appeared on the schedule here as the first playoff race. We are 1-1 in a playoff driver going to victory lane, advancing their way early into the round of 12. Will we see a second driver be able to do that here tonight in this playoff opener? Now, a little remiss on my part. On our poll day qualifying session yesterday, our main focus was on our 16 playoff contenders. But let's give some love to some of the drivers that are not competing for the championship. Their goal still, finish out the season with as many victories as possible. And how about our top 8 in our lineup here tonight? All searching for their first win on the season. For one of them searching for the first win of their Duracell Next Gen Cup Series career. That would be rookie driver Eric Monaco, who yesterday picked up his third pole on the season. That ties him with Nick Gunther for most poles here in Season 8. A track where good starting track position is key. Can Eric Monaco become the third rookie to find victory lane here this season? He's in that fisticuffs battle with Summer Henson for the rookie points lead. -2 to Henson coming into this weekend. Could get right back into the hunt if he's able to get a victory or even just finish with a decent run here tonight. Alongside of him is Joshua Osborne. Osborne is the driver that was second driver highest in the points days, eliminated from the playoffs. His teammate Quentin Moore was the highest, and Eric Monaco, who we just talked about, he was the third highest driver eliminated. Osborne has seen his teammate go to victory lane in James Qualls multiple times this season. He, Quentin Moore, and Qualls all had really stellar regular seasons, but the wheels kind of fell off both the 89 and the 27 team in the home stretch here of the regular season. They weren't able to garner enough points to get up into the top 10 in the standings. So, but for Osborne, he's looking for his first trip to victory lane here this season. Jesse Turner, a driver that most seasons is considered a lock, usually finds his way into the postseason. This season, not the case, as only one of the Lake Effect Autosports entries made it into the postseason this time. Jesse Turner coming into this race 25th in the point standings. It's been a struggling year for that driver. Still looking for that first checkered flag. Could happen here today as he rolls off third. Benjamin Miles. Miles, I believe, was the fourth highest driver that got eliminated from the playoffs. 20th in overall points coming into this one. There is no entry out of Northeast Motorsports battling for the championship here this season. The only shot they had was with two-time winner Connor Breton, but he didn't finish out the regular season inside the top 30 in points. So with that being said, Benjamin Miles Austin LaPlante, Casey Hoyt, they're just looking to end out the season with a lot of checkered flags, kind of establish this team in preparation for Season 9. Dylan Poteet, what a difference a season makes, right? Poteet easily advanced his way into the playoffs 1 season ago. He advanced all the way to the Final Four to compete for the championship. This season, 36th in points. No victories, 3 top 5s, an average finish of 24th. This has just not been the year for Dylan Poteet. He'll start 5th, looking for his first checkered flag of the season. Matt McIntyre, we've documented the long winless streak that he's been on. Was looking like after the All-Star break, a few weeks after the All-Star break, like this was a driver that, if not was going to win his way into the playoffs, was looking pretty much like his consistency could point his way into the playoffs. But then it just seemed like we got the middle portion, second half of this regular season, and he hit a roadblock, fell multiple spots in the point standings 2-3 weeks consecutively, tried to claw his way back up, but it was just too little too late. And so Matt McIntyre, 21st in the point standings, 22nd in the point standings, he's trying to just finish out the season strong. Kyle Matthews, a former champion, we documented yesterday. This is the first season since Season 5, when Kyle Matthews, along with Caleb Folger and Stephen Pollard III, won the championship for S3 Motorsports. This is the first season that an S3 Motorsports entry is not in the playoffs. So 3 straight seasons, the championship has been in-house at S3 Motorsports. This season, S3 Motorsports is not even in the running for it. Their streak will end at 3 consecutive seasons, the championship trophy being in that organization. Kyle Matthews had a great run last week at Auto Club, so there might be a little spark of life there for him as he's just trying to find victory lane for the first time this season. Alongside of him, Kyler Sustre, another driver who had a really good run last week at Auto Club. Jumped up 4 spots in the stands because of it, and he is 30th in points. Another driver that is looking for his first win on the season, second win of his career. Of course, he was a non-charter entry last season in his own single-car team, and was able to find victory lane. Now full-time with Haas Racing, trying to find that same success. Highest of our qualified starters is going to be Levi McIntyre. He's going to roll off from the 9th position. But a lot of drivers, a lot of our 16 playoff contenders are starting at the rear of the field, including the final 3 spots, 40th through 42nd. We'll be looking through the field, keeping an eye on all these playoff contenders. Remember, if you win here this afternoon, you're locked into the next round starting at Dover. You go into Road America next week. Nashville 2 weeks from this afternoon. Worry-free. You are locked into the next round of the playoffs. Those 16 playoff contenders know that. They will be fighting tooth and nail for this checkered flag this evening. They're going to have to go through 26 other non-playoff contenders in order to be able to do so. Let's go down trackside. Let's get those most famous words in motorsports. Get ready to go racing here for 80 laps at Gateway.
Drivers, start your engines.
Right side of your screen, you'll see your 42 cars starting lineup. Your playoff contenders highlighted in yellow. You'll also be able to identify the playoff contenders in the field here throughout the entirety of this postseason, as they will have the Duracell gold rear wings with the playoff text on them. And something that will be interesting to note here in this race will be the potentiality of strategy. Because I looked at the fuel window for these drivers here this weekend, since we don't have the light series to be able to kind of have a baseline off of. And it looks like these drivers can go anywhere from 35 to 38 laps on a tank of fuel. With 80 total laps, that means that we're going to have at least 1, probably 2 pit stops, but you know there's going to be a driver out there trying to save that extra 5-6 laps that they would be lacking. Potentially, more particularly, maybe one of our 16 playoff contenders. We'll see how it all pans out. Caleb Fogler is the only former winner at this racetrack in the field. Matthew Rodriguez was the defending winner of this race 1 season ago, a win that he used to advance into the round of 12. Will we see another driver do that here for a second consecutive season, as Eric Monaco, the rookie, brings us down to the start-finish line, and the playoffs have begun in Season 8 of Duracell Cup Series competition. Teammates on that inside line, Monaco and Turner. Osborne stays alongside of Monaco down the back straightaway. Let's see if the inside line advantage can get Monaco cleared to the lead. Looks like he might be clear here off of 4. Indeed he is. Osborne will slot to second, Turner to third, and Pote will now move into the 4th position. Battle will be for 5th between a couple of Chevrolets, Kyle Matthews and Benjamin Miles. Saw even as early as pole day qualifying here yesterday, specifically in the go or go home first round of qualifying. As this run goes on, lap times will slow, so this is definitely a track that is abrasive on the tires. And so for those drivers, those playoff contenders that qualified towards the rear of the field, they're going to have to hope 2 things. 1, that they have a good long-run race car, and 2, that they are going to be able to save those tires as they try to steadily work their way up through the grid. As we're looking at Levi McIntyre, he was the highest qualifier of the playoff contenders. Right now slotted in the 7th position, and lead change, Joshua Osborne crosses up Eric Monaco, clears him through 3 and 4, and the Joanna Atwood Racing Chevrolet will now pace the field. First lap led of the night for the 27. Kyle Matthews up the racetrack there. Had to gather it back up, checks up Levi McIntyre. That brings Benjamin Miles to the inside. That'll be for the 5th position. Another playoff driver, Carson Gum, back there wrestling with rookie Hiccup Bush, making his 2nd start of the season. That's for 11th place. Some more playoff drivers just behind that, and James Qualls, Michael Norman, and our regular season champion, Ryan Brommer. There's that cluster of playoff drivers. You see them all there with the gold rear wings. The 19, the 70, the 22, and the 87. Keep an eye on Michael Norman here tonight. During pole day qualifying yesterday, he had an engine expire on him. And so they put a brand new engine in that race car. If you have a mechanical problem involved in a wreck during qualifying, you still get to keep the position that you qualified in. So that was at least good news for Michael. Did not have to start at the rear of this field. As right now he is in 14th with Brommer behind him in 15th. Qualls ahead in 13th. Carson Gum right now the 2nd highest running of our playoff contenders in 12th. There is Hiccup Bush. This racetrack 1.25 miles in length. Hiccup made his debut back at the 1.5 mile Kentucky. Started 11th in that race and finished in the 10th position. Great debut for him right now. Scored in the 11th spot as he's in a good battle with the 39 of Keith Batson, a former winner on the season. Actually, correction, this is a battle for 10th going on here. Hiccup has the spot. Keith wants it. Keith with the victory back at Progressive Speedway, but one of 2 drivers that formerly got checkered flags this season and did not advance into the playoffs. The second of those being, of course, the 2-time winner Connor Breton, who finished out the regular season 33rd in points. Had a good battle there for 3rd place. Dylan Pote was trying to put the pressure on Jesse Turner, who in turn was trying to get around his rookie teammate Eric Monaco for 2nd. We now will single file out once again. Best battle on the racetrack right now still happening here in the latter half of the top 10, or just outside of the top 10. Carson Gum with a little slip up there. Michael Norman trying to take advantage. James Qualls behind him. drivers based off of the amount of victories they had during the regular season determines what positioning they were in terms of the seeding of our 16 playoff slots. Ryan Brommer, of course, with the 15 bonus points as regular season champion, along with his 1 victory, 20 bonus points headed his way. 20 bonus points for Destin Bolin for his 4 wins on the season. 15 for Carson Gum and Matt Haas with their 3 victories on the season. 10 bonus points went to James Qualls and Nathan Ormond for their 2 victories. And then 5 bonus points for Alexander Rose, Summer Henson, Jack Mitchell, Reggie Fogelman, Eric Sadler, Michael Norman, RJ Bishop, and Daniel Voiles. The only 2 drivers that did not get any bonus points when the playoff standings were put together were Levi McIntyre and Nick Gunther, who did not have victories this season but pointed their way into the playoffs via top 10 in the standings. Levi McIntyre, as we documented, was the highest qualifying of the playoff contenders. Nick Gunther actually qualified in 41st, and as I'm checking the running order right now, he has worked his way up to 36th. But we still have quite a number of our playoff drivers that did not qualify well, currently still running at the back of the pack, including 3-time winner Matt Haas. Right now he is in the 41st position. Not too far up ahead of him there is Gunther, who just crossed the line in 37th. RJ Bishop to his left in 36th. Alexander Rowe right now in 34th, as they're going to go 3 wide with 4-time winner Destin Bolin. And there is Jack Mitchell. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe 6 playoff drivers right now. 33rd on back, as Mitchell tries to go to work on Jessica Shelton. There's Daniel Voiles right now in 28th. There's our inaugural Gateway winner Caleb Fogler. Nathan Ormond, who picked up his 2nd win of the season last week in the regular season finale, right now 23rd for the 23. Reggie Fogelman currently in 21st. There's rookie Eric Sadler in 19th. And then we saw Ryan Brommer and drivers further on up here. Summer Henson actually just got around her teammate Brommer. Brommer back to 16th, Henson up to 15th, with Qualls in 14th, Gum in 13th, Norman in 12th, and then all the way up here to Levi McIntyre, who just got around Kyle Matthews to move into the 5th position. Kyle's having some difficulty holding the bottom. We keep seeing him slipping up, specifically on the entry to turn 1. There's now Benjamin Miles, Kyler Sestre, looking to take advantage of the obviously ill-handling race car there of Matthews, that mellow yellow Chevrolet. 4th place, Dylan Pote trying to get a run there out of 4. Looked to the left rear quarter panel of Jesse Turner, but couldn't find the power off. Side by side, a couple of rows there. Benjamin Miles makes the pass on Matt McIntyre. Ooh, almost 3 wide back here. Michael Norman, Hiccup Bush, and Keith Batson, a trio of blue ovals. Michael Norman trying to crack the top 10 here. Now gets to the inside of his teammate Matt McIntyre. You know, normally when we end up having the playoffs with 16 drivers able to lock themselves in, we normally have that dominant team that's able to get most, if not all, of its drivers into the postseason. And as I look at the lineup that we have here for this season, there is not necessarily a clear standout team. I guess maybe you'd have to give the edge to Young Motorsports, as they've got 3 of their cars here in the playoffs with Bolin, Sadler, and Bishop. But Michael Norman Motorsports has 2 entries with Michael Norman and Nathan Ormond. You've got 2 Auto Junction Racing Toyotas with Ryan Brommer and Summer Henson, and then 2 Toyota entries out of Haas Racing with Matt Haas and Reggie Fogelman. Other than that, all the other entries are their only representatives of their respective teams, with James Qualls for Joanna Atwood Motorsports, Alexander Rowe for Lake Effect Autosports, Jack Mitchell for Adrenaline Motorsports, Daniel Voiles for World NOS Racing, Nick Gunther for Garage 55, and Levi McIntyre for Shadow Cult Racing. Speaking of Levi, he is on the move. Levi started this race from 9th. He's cracked the top 5, and now he's looking for 4th position on Dylan Poteet. So, we talk about the fact that both Levi McIntyre and Nick Gunther got into the playoffs through consistency on points, but have yet to pick up a checkered flag. Be no better time for Levi to get that first win on the season than right here tonight in the first playoff race to advance into the round of 12. Miles and Matthews behind this battle. That would be for 6th place. As top 3 have been able to pretty much single file and pull away from everybody else. Osborne with about 7/10 of a second back to Eric Monaco. Then another 9/10 of a second back to Jesse Turner. One thing I am noticing here, though, and I feel like this is going to be very similar to what we saw a few weeks ago at Hanford. The tire fall off, the lap times are slowing significantly. And I know for some of these drivers it's because they're in side-by-side battles, but let's use a driver that's had clean air here for the last 16 laps in Joshua Osborne. That last time by, he ran a full 1.5 seconds slower than the fastest lap he's put down so far in this race. 37.620 compared to his best lap of a 36.123. That says to me, there is the opportunity for the undercut here if we get into green flag pit stops. Expect to see some drivers maybe come to pit road a little bit earlier, a lap or 2 earlier, rely on those fresh tires on their out lap to gain them track position. And what was it, last week at Auto Club, we even saw at that race, drivers on both the lights and the Cup Series side utilizing the undercut in pit road strategy to be able to gain track position. We could very well see that same thing here in this playoff opener. And I'm looking at lap times here, and slowly but steadily, it looks like Eric Monaco is starting to maybe eat into that 7/10 of a second gap that the 27 has been able to build. That last time by, Osborne actually lost 3/10 though. So, or make that Monaco lost 3/10. So, never mind on that. Must have had a slip up at some portion of this racetrack. He did have it cut down to 0.6 of a second. We'll see if there's any improvement this lap as 37.8 and a 38.01. Okay, so Monaco is definitely falling off now. And that is going to help Joshua Osborne, I think, in terms of what type of strategy he wants to play out, being the race leader, in terms of pit strategy. Jesse Turner is about to fall into the clutches of both Dylan Poteet and Levi McIntyre. We're going to have a 3-car fight for the 3rd position, as we're still about 15 laps away from when we'll start talking about those potential green flag pit stops. Gateway is not a difficult racetrack to get onto pit road. The one caveat is the fact that it's kind of almost like Homestead, where you've got that access road entering into 3 all the way around to the exit of 4 to get onto pit lane. And we see a lot of times where drivers will maybe carry a little too much speed, get those right sides out into the grass, makes the car difficult to turn, and potentially could come back up onto the racetrack. There you saw right there, that orange square, that is the commitment cone, if you will. It's not a physical cone, it's a painted cone on the racing surface. You have to have all 4 tires to the left of that, and then come down that access road down on the apron. Poteet had the run off of 4 down the front straightaway, shows the nose on Turner for 3rd place, but it does not look like he's going to be able to get alongside, at least at this point in time. We saw Michael Norman trying to work his way up into the top 10. He's done so Now in the back bumper of Kyle Matthews, P8 for the 22, and looking for 7th right here through the 3 and 4 corners. Let's see if he can complete this pass down here into 1 and 2, as he will try to stay at least at that left rear quarter panel. He'll drive it in deep here on the 0-9, but that camera angle looked like he was still to the inside. As we see, Matthews actually cleared himself. We've got 3 of our playoff drivers in the top 10 right now. Carson Gum has managed to work his way into the 10th position behind fellow Toyota Kyler Sustre. Well, right now, and obviously there's a long ways to go in this race, but right now, about 3, 4, 5 drivers looking like they would have at least a pretty decent points night. As here's a battle now, 4 cars for 3rd place. But on the flip side, there are a number of drivers right now. If they finish where they're currently running, they will be going into Road America next week in a pretty deep hole, points-wise. Matt Haas is still mired back at 41st, Gunther in 39th, Bishop in 38th, Rowe in 35th. One driver that has gained quite a few positions since the start is Jack Mitchell, who started back in 40th. He is right now scored in 31st. Again, though, as I said, we're going to have to kind of wait and see here with the upcoming round of green flag pit stops. Some of these drivers that we're talking about that are struggling, they may be planning to utilize pit road to gain that track position that they didn't have. Destin Bolin started this race shotgun on the field, and he's actually gained 17 spots since the start. I just noticed he's up to 25th, so keep an eye out there for that 0-2. If that team can gain him some more spots on the racetrack, I think he's got a pretty decent long run car, obviously as evidenced by the amount of ground he's been able to make up since the start of this race. So keep an eye on the 4-time winner as Osborne continues to lead, and he is now running 3 seconds slower than his fastest lap. So the last time we checked in, we were only a 1.5 seconds off. That has now doubled. And this is a driver that's got nobody in front of him. He's got clear air on the nose. Gets to choose where he wants to brake into the corner, what line he wants. He's not battling with anybody. But the tires are still going away underneath this Melling Performance Chevrolet. Monaco still holding on to second after starting from the pole position. Dylan Pote, we saw make the pass on Jesse Turner to get up to third, and now Turner is under fire for fourth. As here comes Levi McIntyre. Michael Norman is on the move as well. Got around Kyle Matthews a couple of laps ago, and now putting the pressure on Benjamin Miles for 6th place. Michael trying to get up there to the 99 of Levi McIntyre to be the highest running of our playoff contenders. There is Levi, just about maybe 4 or 5 car lengths ahead. We're in that window where drivers are going to have to start thinking about pit road. About 5 laps from now, we'll probably see a majority of the field on pit lane. Fuel window we were given was about 38 laps. Now that was on the initial start. We've seen the pace obviously back down, so maybe we'll throw out the caveat that we could potentially see these drivers get to that halfway point, the completion of lap 40. Since the pace is back down as much as it has, the lap times have obviously slowed. There may not be nearly as much fuel consumption, so we may have actually been able to save a little bit here on this run, which could push the window out a little bit further. Obviously, these drivers would love to get to that halfway point, only have to come to pit road once here under green flag conditions. But as I said, if we do come to pit lane before lap 40, it will be very unlikely that we will see these drivers make it the rest of the way on fuel. And right on cue, here comes 2nd place Eric Monaco to pit road. Hiccup Bush is also in. I believe that is playoff contender Reggie Fogelman on the top of the screen, along with Benjamin Snyder. So these drivers are looking for the undercut. For Eric Monaco, I think he's looking for the undercut to get him the race lead. Two things have to happen here for Eric Monaco. One, what we're seeing right now. He needs Joshua Osborne to continue to run some laps here on these old tires for the fresh tires to take advantage. The second thing that he needs for when he comes off of pit road to have clean racetrack in front of him. If he's got traffic in front of him, that is going to hinder his lap times. Looks like we had maybe a little under a dozen drivers come to pit road there of that group. More drivers on pit road here, including a number of playoff drivers. Gunther, Mitchell, Bishop, Matt Haas, Nathan Ormond as well, Ryan Brommer. Looks like Jesse Turner, Anthony McCurry, Dylan Pote, Kyle Matthews, some of our front runners on pit road, Carson Gum. And there's Osborne on pit lane now. From the race lead, Levi McIntyre comes in. So did Michael Norman, Kyler Sustre. Trying to figure out if anybody has decided to run an extra lap further, and I don't believe they had. I'm waiting on scoring here for that information, but it looks like everybody that hadn't pit came down pit road there with that group. And now we'll keep the focus on the 45. You can see he has clean racetrack in front of him. Going to try and take advantage of these fresh tires. He was a little over 3 seconds back from Joshua Osborne. And maybe can make that ground up. Was that Osborne just coming off pit road? Yes, it was. I think right there might have been your exchange for the lead. And Osborne, I think, is going to slide into second. So Monaco, with the undercut strategy, I think is going to cycle to the point. Let's just check and make sure there's nobody in front of him. Nope. I think the pole sitter is going to go back to the front, and that undercut strategy is going to work. And why was that a great call? Well, look at what lap we're on. 34 completed on to lap 35. We didn't reach halfway for any driver, which means nobody can make it the rest of the way on fuel. We're going to have at least one more pit stop somewhere around 10 laps to go. So rolling the dice here on the strategy early for Monaco is going to pay off. He's going to have the lead. He's going to have about 3.3 seconds back to Joshua Osborne, and look who's up to third. Reggie Fogelman, who was another of those drivers who pitted on the same lap as the race leader Monaco, same for Hiccup Bush. They are now up here fighting inside of the top 5 when before they were just barely outside of the top 10. Pote will slot into 4th. Hiccup Bush going to try and get around the outside of Jesse Turner for the 5th position. Benjamin Miles is in 7th. Kyle Matthews in 8th. 9th for Benjamin Snyder, who I believe was another of those first drivers to pit road. And that now cycles Levi McIntyre back to 10th. James Qualls in 11th. Let's find the rest of our playoff drivers where they cycle around to. Michael Norman in 13th. Carson Gum looking for 14th on Austin LaPlante. Summer Henson is in 19th. Daniel Voiles in 21st. Ryan Brommer just now getting by Laura Chung. I believe that was for 23rd place. Dustin Bolin right now in 29th. Jack Mitchell in 30th. Nathan Ormond is 31st. 32nd for Nick Gunther. Alexander Rowe, 36th. Make that 35th. Eric Sadler now in 36th. Matt Haas, 37th. RJ Bishop in 38th. And he is the lowest running of the playoff contenders right now. Quentin Moore, Connor Breton, Autumn Brooks, and Zachary Fitzwater all back here. All 42 drivers are still running and on the lead lap after that first cycle of pit stops. So now we pay attention to lap times. We saw Joshua Osborne, second half of that last run, was able to pull away, increase the gap from him to Monaco when Monaco was running second. Now, does Osborne have the long run card to eat into the just under 3-second gap that Monaco currently has? He does have a tire advantage on the latter portion of this run since he pitted later than Monaco did. He also, though, does have traffic to deal with out the rearview mirror as Jesse Turner is trying to close up in that battle for second. Next time by, we'll be halfway home here in the opener of the playoffs. Just the Cup Series here this weekend. Next weekend, it'll be our first playoff doubleheader at the road course, the final road course stop of the season for both series at Road America. Pole day qualifying for the Lights drivers, Friday at 3, Saturday at 1. It'll be Cup Series pole day qualifying. Then the Duracell Ultralight Series drivers will have their first playoff race of the season Saturday at 3 o'clock. Cup Series drivers on Sunday at 1, all times Eastern. Right now, it is looking like we may have our second season where a non-playoff driver takes the checkered flag here at Gateway, denying any of the 16 champion contenders an automatic golden ticket into the round of 12. However, don't count out Reggie Fogelman, Levi McIntyre, James Qualls, some of these drivers potentially utilizing the undercut on the second round of pit stops, which we know is going to happen. Very impressive run here tonight for Hiccup Bush. We already documented in his debut back in Kentucky, qualified 11th. Ran top 10 most of that race, finished in the 10th position, and again, another solid outing here in only his second Cup Series start. In the 6th position, and a veteran move there, going forward the undercut strategy to gain track position. And right now in P6, as here is second place under contest. Jesse Turner has caught Joshua Osborne, and now looks to make the pass for the position here into 1 and 2. Those fresh tires grip through the center of the corner, and he will clear off of 2 onto the back straightaway. It is now Lake Effect Autosports 1-2 here at Gateway, and now Turner will look to reel in his teammate for the top position. Interesting point of note, as those two were battling each other, they were continuing to close up the gap between themselves and Eric Monaco as well. The gap is now 1.7 seconds. Remember, when the green flag pit stop cycle was complete, it was 3.3. So Monaco reaping the benefits of the early portion of this run with the undercut strategy, maybe paying for it the longer this run goes on, as Turner, his teammate, is visibly closing up on the back bumper of that Shell Pennzoil Dark Horse Mustang. And he is bringing Joshua Osborne along with him. So far, only 2 drivers have been out in front in this race. Joshua Osborne and Eric Monaco. Monaco led the first couple of laps before Osborne got around him. Osborne then led a current race high 31 laps. Monaco retook the lead after the pit stop cycle. He has led 13 circuits out in front. Jesse Turner looking to be only the 3rd driver to lead a lap here this afternoon at Gateway. As look at the grip, he's able to get through the center of the corner, draws right up alongside of his teammate here out of 4, and should have the advantage going down into 1. Turner will lead that lap, so a bonus point will go to the direction of the Air Force Mustang out of Lake Effect Autosport, and he will clear for the race lead here through 1 and 2. Jesse Turner now out in front, with Osborne looking for second. Couldn't stay alongside of Monaco. We'll try again here into turn 3. And now you're starting to see the varying tire strategies, how they are kind of mix-matching each other. Hiccup Bush on older tires now has Benjamin Miles to his outside, Kyle Matthews as well. Reggie Fogelman could find himself in trouble here the longer this run goes on. He's also one of the drivers that pitted early. Benjamin Snyder, I believe he was also another of the early birds to pit road, holding the 9th spot, and Levi McIntyre right now in 10th, trying to work his way back up through the top 10. He's run as high as 5th so far here this evening, currently the 2nd highest of our playoff contenders in the running order. Cody Lamas right now in 11th. We've seen Cody in the conversation for wins during the course of this season, and circumstances always seem to pan out to his detriment. Michael Norman right now the 3rd highest running of the playoff drivers in 12th position, trying to make his way back up here towards the top 10. James Qualls right now in 14th place. Only 4 of our 16 playoff contenders currently scored inside of the top 15. Let's move back up here to the front as Osborne has completed the pass around Monaco, and look at the ground that Monaco is losing now to the top 2. Turner and Osborne now 1 and 2. I'm trying to remember back. I know Osborne was one of the last drivers to come to pit road. He was part of that last group. I don't remember what group Jesse Turner was a part of. I don't know if he was with that last group as well or not, so I'm not sure if there is an equalization of the grip of the tires underneath both of these race cars, or if one has a slight advantage over the other. Looking at lap times here, they're pretty similar between the top 2. Maybe a slight edge for Jesse Turner, so that kind of says to me that these two probably came to pit road on the same lap, but again, I can't confirm nor deny, as it was a really big pack of drivers that came down pit road of that last group. Benjamin Miles on the move. Those fresh tires going to work as he got around Poteet, he got around Fogelman. And now he will move his way into the 4th position. Fogelman now under fire from Dylan Poteet. And now if you're any of these drivers that pitted early, like Monaco, like Fogelman, Snyder, your goal is to try and hold on, maintain as much track position as you can in preparation for that final pit stop. You know you're going to lose some spots, but you don't want to lose all the spots. As now Poteet side by side with Fogelman. Look who's right behind them, Levi McIntyre. This would be the battle to see who'd be the highest running of the playoff drivers in the field. And this has kind of wadded everybody up as well. It's brought Cody Lamas into this conversation. Keith Batson, Michael Norman just about to reel in this group as well. Kind of got us wadded up from about 5th place back to 13th. It's been a tough year for Blue Oval Automotive. All 3 of their full-time drivers yet to go to victory lane. Fogler, Snyder, and Fitzwater. We've seen some pretty good performances out of some of the all-star drivers in that all-star car. Jose Mills, Trey Wright had that 2nd place finish at Bristol Dirt. Jordan Lopez has had a couple of decent runs in the starts that he's made. But Blue Oval Automotive this season, a little bit of a, not a rebrand, but a difference in the lineup, as a lot of their seasoned veterans did not return, instead going into those all-star cars. And so you ended up having the young guns, or I should say the young gun of Benjamin Snyder taking over the 38. You had Fitzwater, the veteran, moving over from Chevrolet to Ford, taking over the 83, and then Caleb Fogler, a former champion of the series, basically I guess you could call the veteran leader of the organization in that 28 car. But that'll certainly be a team that'll be interesting to see what the future holds for them in Season 9. Osborne is still there, and he is closing up on the back bumper of Jesse Turner, trying to put the pressure on him. I'm not sure if Osborne right now has a car capable of getting around the 47. This could be an intimidation tactic where he's just looming large in the rearview mirror, forcing Jesse Turner to look more in that rearview mirror than out the windshield, maybe force him into a mistake, and then be able to capitalize. Though we did document that near the end of that last green flag run, that last stint before the pit stops, Osborne appeared to have a faster long run car than Eric Monaco as he began to pull away. So maybe we're starting to see that long run speed here come into play once again, as we are about, if my calculations are right, about 15 laps away from that final pit stop, which will be the money stop on the night. Look at the gap they've been able to build back to Eric Monaco. Another large gap back to fourth place, Benjamin Miles. Let's check in rear of the field again, see about some of our playoff drivers, and it is not going to be a good points night for Eric Sadler, RJ Bishop, or Nick Gunther unless something drastically changes in these final 25 circuits. Remember, Bishop and Sadler only got in through one victory, so they only got 5 bonus points. I think Sadler was the 11th seed, Bishop was the 13th seed, so they will definitely, at this point in time, be below the cut line, that 12th in the standings cut line going into Road America next week. Gunther was one of the 2 drivers that pointed his way in, so he would definitely be below the cut line. Question would be who the other driver would be below the cut line. I would originally say Matt Haas, but he's got 3 victories. There's only a couple of cars ahead of him to the 46 of one-time winner Alexander Rowe. So it might end up being Alexander Rowe who's behind the cut line, and Matt Haas may be the 12th driver in standings once we end up having this race concluded. Again, that's all based off of where they're running right now on these final pit stops that are beginning right here, including playoff driver Reggie Fogelman and his teammate Matt Haas. A lot could change here in these final 25 or so laps. Turner coming to pit road from the lead. We are good to make it the rest of the way here with these pit stops. I believe these drivers are pitting when the window is open rather than running a little bit longer, which I think a number of drivers can do. See Jesse Turner a little held up there with Anthony McCrory. I didn't really consider the fact that, we talk about drivers on their out laps needing clean racetrack. You also need clean access on pit road, and not getting it right there, at least, was the 47 car. Osborne stays out. Levi McIntyre, Michael Norman right now the top 3. Looks like our points leader Ryan Brommer on pit road. A couple more playoff drivers in Mitchell, Gunther, and Bishop. McIntyre will continue to run long. Michael Norman and I believe Benjamin Miles. Nope, Miles is already pit. There's the difference of fresh tires to old tires. Look at how quickly Miles is able to swing around the outside of the 22. Poti just completed his service. No Osborne yet. Looks like McIntyre bypassed pit road entry. So too did Michael Norman, who's in 4th place right now. That would be this battle right now between Matt McIntyre and Kyler Sustre. These drivers should not have to come to pit road for another 5 to 7 laps. Looks like Daniel Voiles is also running long. James Qualls has already completed his pit stop, as has Casey Hoyt and Caleb Fogler. Summer Henson and Destin Bull and a couple more playoff drivers deciding to run long here. They're currently in 7th and 8th, but they're yet to come to pit road. And a lot of this group of drivers here, it's all intermingled with drivers that have pit, drivers that have not, and it's wadded everybody up. There's Shelton coming to pit road. Henson is in. McIntyre, Sustre. Some of our front runners might be in as well. Yeah, 2nd and 3rd place have just pit. Levi McIntyre and Michael Norman, and the race leader Joshua Osborne. So who does that turn the race lead over to now? Let's see. Did anybody else stay out of those that were running long? Doesn't look like it. Oh, wait, hold on. Dustin Bolin did stay out. I think Osborne led the lap, but Osborne stayed out. Oh, he's not going to be able to find his way to pit road, even if he wanted to right there. He was on the top side of 3 wide, and now he's going to hold everybody up. And that's going to spin Nathan Norman around off the nose of Connor Breton. That's going to bring out a yellow. RJ Bishop swept up in that as well. Caution's going to come out. Dustin Bolin could not get to pit road. He held everybody up, crossing 3 lanes of traffic. I'm pretty sure he missed that commitment cone. I don't know if that's going to issue a penalty, but caution is going to fly. We race back. Who is the leader is going to be the question, as some drivers might get trapped on pit road here as well. Hopefully not. I think they're all going to be able to go by. They should be able to. But who's the race leader now is going to be the question. I don't know who cycled to the front. Maybe the 45? Maybe the undercut worked for him again? No, it was Jesse Turner. Turner's going to be the leader. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, everybody is on the lead lap. We've seen so many times here, go back to Hanford a couple of weeks ago, where a caution came out in the middle of green flag pit stops, and we had most drivers on the tail of the lead lap start ahead of the top 5, who were the only ones in the hunt for the win. I don't think we're having that scenario here, but what a time for this caution to come out, huh? Closing up on 15 laps to go. Let's go back and take a look again at what happened. We knew Dustin Bolin was going to be really, really close on fuel, and he was more than likely going to have to pit. The problem for him was he was put on the outside of a 3-wide situation down the back straightaway, and he had no lane to be able to get to the inside. Here's a look at it. Right there, he should have taken the opportunity to get down in front of Matt Haas. He didn't take it. Chung shoots up the middle. There is no path for Dustin Bolin to get down to that commitment cone on the apron for the access road. And right here, he's on the brakes. Orman tries to lift for him, and as he does so, Connor Breton gets into his left rear quarter panel. RJ Bishop gets swept up into this as well, and that brings out the first yellow of the afternoon. And we've got a driver out of the race. And I'm not sure as to why. And I want to find out. Oh, man. Well, the one problem with cautions like this, things get convoluted when drivers are trying to go around the pace car to get their laps back. And look at how they're slowed up here. Ormond, Breton, and Bishop, and Shelton saw them all slow. I think Ormond was waiting for drivers to pass him. And when Shelton was trying to use the wall to slow down, she couldn't slow her car enough. Runs into the back of that race car, and you can see the damage pushed in the hood. More than likely had damage to the radiator, and Jessica Shelton, because of that, is going to be the first and up to this point only driver out of the race. So the what was it? There was somebody gave me a term, and I can't remember what it was now. But one season removed from winning the championship, the slump continues for the driver of the 94, that Project Dodge Intrepid out of S3 Motorsports. And Shelton had a great run last week at Auto Club, was running top 10 pretty much the entirety of that race. Jumped up 4 spots in the standings to 29th, but going to give all those points back again here with this DNF. Lights are still on the Toyota Camry pace car. So we'll maybe get the lights out this next time by. Everybody is on the lead lap, fortunately, and the leader is going to be the control car. So we're not going to have the same issue that we had back at Hanford. That is the good news. And most drivers had already completed their pit stops as well, so nobody had to come down pit road. Now it's basically you got what you got for the remainder of this race. And this restart will be with less than 15 to go. The way that the pit stop cycled out with the timing of that caution puts Turner as the leader, pole sitter Eric Monaco in second, Joshua Osborne in third. Those 3 are the only ones who have been out in front here in this race so far. Reggie Fogelman is the highest of our playoff contenders. He is going to restart in 4th. Benjamin Miles is 5th. 6th, Benjamin Snyder. Hiccup Bush in 7th. Dylan Poteet in 8th. Kyle Matthews 9th. And 10th is Cody Lamas. Did you manage to hear how many playoff drivers are restarting the top 10? That's right, only 1 in Reggie Fogelman. Keith Batson will line up in 11th. Next highest of our playoff contenders will be 12th place Levi McIntyre. Michael Norman in 13th. James Qualls in 14th. And Casey Hoy will complete the top 15. So 4 playoff contenders inside of the top 15. Rest of the playoff drivers will restart like so. Carson Gum in 18th. Ryan Brommer 19th. Jack Mitchell now up to 20th. Matt Haas up to 23rd. So a couple of drivers benefited from that yellow. Nick Gunther now up to 27th. Destin Boland is in 30th. Daniel Voiles 31st. Eric Sadler is 33rd. Summer Henson back in 35th. With Alexander Rowe 37th. Nathan Ormond 39th. And caught up in that wreck, RJ Bishop will restart the last driver running on the lead lap in 41st. So a trio of drivers, that caution actually did benefit them, gained them some track position after they've been running most of this race outside of the top 30. Mitchell in 20th, Haas in 23rd, and Gunther in 27th. Can they make more of the situation? Here will be the question, as we are going to get this restart with 14 laps to go. Only first caution of the night. It's a doozy. Going to set us up for a shootout here to the finish. 9 non-playoff drivers up here in the top 10. Many of them looking for their first wins on the season. Reggie Fogelman, the only driver up here with the playoff gold wing, where a victory for him tonight would lock him into the next round of the playoffs, regardless of what happens in the next 2 weeks at Road America and Nashville Superspeedway. They would then put their focus on Dover, the next race, the first race of that round of 12. Pace car makes the turn onto pit road. And here we go. Teammates 1 and 2. Turner, who has led 17 laps. Monaco, who started from the pole and has led 13 laps. Green flag back in the air. And the timing of this yellow is interesting as well, because you got to wonder, a number of those drivers that went with the short pit strategy, does this help cool their tires off, put them on a little bit more equal footing with the drivers that pitted late? As Fogelman, wasting no time, going for third on Joshua Osborne. Field also got quite spread out after the first cycle of green flag pit stops. Everybody wadded up together, so big opportunity for drivers to be able to maybe pick up track position here in the closing stages. As Fogelman not yet able to complete that pass on Osborne. Top 2, single file, trying to pull away. Three wide, further back, Matthews, Lamas, Snyder. That's for 8th. Michael Norman right in that mix. Levi McIntyre actually got his left sides down on the red and white rumble strip there through 3 and 4. 3 wide, further back behind them with Casey Hoyt, James Qualls. I believe that was Keith Batson up on the top side of that formation. Hiccup Bush trying to get to the outside of Benjamin Miles. That was for 5th place. Fogelman did complete the pass for 3rd on Osborne. Now sets his sights on the top 2. Closing in on 10 laps to go. Everybody's good to make it on fuel. Now it comes down to if you have a good mid-car, I guess we could say. We've seen some drivers that were good on the short run, drivers that were good on the long run. About a midway stint here with a little less than 15 to go when we got the green flag. And Monaco trying to go coast to coast, trying to be the 3rd rookie to go to victory lane this season, putting the pressure on his teammate Jesse Turner. For 4 of the top 5, they're looking for their first win on the season. For Monaco, he is looking for the first win of his career. Came into this season the defending Duracell Ultra Light Series champion. A lot of pressure on this driver to perform at the Cup Series level. And he will edge ahead of Turner. Not yet completing the pass, though. Can he do so down here into 3? Yesterday, Eric Monaco tied Nick Gunther with 3 poles on the season. And he is clear for the top position, coming to 9 laps to go. Osborne trying to take 3rd back from Fogelman. Can't do it down the front straightaway. Now Eric Monaco out in front. You know, it's funny because we've documented on the Light Series side a lot of the Cup Series regulars coming down there, running in some all-star cars and everything. We have never had, and then we of course have some Lights drivers that come up here and moonlight in the Cup Series in non-charter entries. We've never had a driver be able to say that oh wait, caution's out! We've had a wreck on the front straightaway! And we're going to get yet another restart. But I was going to mention here for Monaco, we've never had a driver be able to say that they have won a race in Lights and in Cup. If Monaco closes out the deal, he would make history to be the first driver ever to do that. But caution is out. Saw a lot of skid marks on the front straightaway. 2-time winner Connor Breton has been caught up in this. Daniel Bouchard looks like he also was involved. His teammate, playoff contender Nathan Ormond, may have been in it. Oh yeah, there's damage definitely on the front end of that Nike Ford. And it looked like it was a lot more than just 3 sets of skid marks. There must have been some other drivers that got bits and pieces of this. Question is, who were they? As cautions breeding cautions here in the closing stages of this gateway race. We're going to get a restart now with less than 5 to go. Let's go back and take a look at what happened. Was this off of 4 or was this just clearly right on the front stretch? As we'll focus on the 33 of rookie Daniel Bouchard. And he's going to get some help from Nick Gunther in the 55. Clips the right rear of Charles Sanford, who pounds the wall. And then nowhere for his teammate Nathan Ormond, nor the 88 of Connor Breton to be able to go. Remember, we did have different drivers on different tire strategies just after that caution came out at the conclusion of green flag pit stop cycle, so closing rate could be different there between what the 55 was able to do and what the 38 was able to do. And a couple of pretty big shots there, specifically from Connor Breton into the 33 of Daniel Bouchard. As a matter of fact, I believe that Connor Breton is going to be out of this race. As here's another look at it. Watch the shot that Breton takes right there. And that propels the back end of the 33 up into the path of the 23 of Nathan Ormond also. Ormond, I believe, at this point in time is looking to continue, but you got to wonder how up to speed that car is going to be for the remainder of this race. Obviously, any driver now, as we are approaching 6 laps to go here when we cross the start finish line, the likelihood that you're going to gain any ground here on this final restart is slim to none. And while we always talk about this in the round of 16, that first round, there's always that 5-6 drivers that look really good in the first race of the playoffs, and then there's always that half dozen drivers that you look at and you think, wow, they really need to pick things up in the next 2 races or they're in trouble. And right now, I'm looking at 29th place Daniel Voiles, 30th Alexander Rowe, Destin Bolin drifted back to 32nd. We saw Gunther involved in that wreck, 35th, Summer Henson, 33rd, Bishop in 36th, and of course Ormond involved in that wreck, and a restart back in 39th. It's going to be a lot of drivers hovering just below or maybe just barely above that 12th in the standings cut line going into Road America next week. 2 drivers out of the race as Connor Breeden has DNF, joining Jessica Shelton behind the wall. 40 drivers will remain here for this upcoming, more than likely, final restart of the night, and all 40 are currently on the lead lap. Yeah, it's amazing. You kind of look, there's been a couple of drivers that have nearly been able to say that they have, in their career, won a Light Series race and a Cup Series race. Eric Sadler had a great run down in the Light Series earlier on this season. R.J. Bishop did as well. I believe Anthony McCrory was in the conversation. Well, actually, no, Anthony hasn't won on the Cup side yet, so even if he had won a Light Series race, that wouldn't have counted. I think Carson Gum was actually up there at one point in a Light Series race. But we've yet to have any of our Cup Series regulars that have moonlighted down the Light Series. We've yet to see any of them go to victory lane in the Light Series race. And on the flip side, we've yet to see any of the drivers that have been in the Light Series go to victory lane here on the Cup side. Autumn Brooks, Kyle Langland, Eric Monaco. I'm trying to think of some other drivers that have won Light Series races that have been up here attempting to win in the Cup Series. I think those would be the 3 that kind of stand out to me, and obviously none of them have won on the Cup side. Monaco going to get ready to lead us here for what will be a 4-lap shootout, trying to be the first ever driver to win both in the Light Series and in the Cup Series. You know, we've had, go back to Season 5, Season 6, Season 7, we've had strong rookie classes, and we've had a lot of rookies in those classes. We've only got 4 full-time rookies here this season, and let's be honest, we really we have Bryce Egan, but he's a non-charter driver, so really only 4 full-time rookies this season. So far, 50% of them have gone to victory lane with Sadler and Henson, and if Eric Monaco wins here tonight, that would be 3 of our 4 full-time rookies that have gone to victory lane. That's impressive. That's really impressive because we had, 4 or 5 rookies in the past 2 seasons go to victory lane, and at that point we had, 6, 7, 8 rookies that were battling for the title. So that was impressive in and of itself, but you condense it down to only 4 full-time rookies, and we could potentially have 75% of them go to victory lane here in Season 8. That just shows, that shows that, while these drivers are out here donning rookie stripes, that doesn't mean they're at an experience disadvantage. They've run in the Light Series. They've got that experience. For our 4 full-time rookies, they've got 26 regular season races under their belt. They're here to play. They're here to win. And Eric Monaco would love to become the next different driver to go to victory lane, looking for his first career win, looking to go coast to coast, pole to win here at Gateway. Green flag back in the air. 4 laps to go. What a great launch there, as he's going to have at least 2 car lengths on his teammate here through 1 and 2. Next flag's going to end the race. If caution comes out here, race will be over. Eric Monaco trying to get to the white. They're battling further back in the latter portion of the top 10. 3 wide. Fogler, a former winner here. Matthews in the middle. Poteet way up on the top side. Fogler will get 2 for 1. That will move him, I believe, up to the 10th position. Up ahead, Cody Lamas looking for a move on Michael Norman. Levi McIntyre right there as well. Couple of playoff contenders, the 22 and the 99, looking for a solid points day here at Gateway. Cody will move to 7th. Benjamin Miles now for 4th on Joshua Osborne as Fogelman takes a peek for 2nd on Turner. Look at the gap Monaco has been able to build. Question is, can he maintain it? 2 laps to go, this time by at the stripe. Turner will hang on to the 2nd spot, keeps Fogelman at bay for the time being. Eric Monaco and Jesse Turner, the 2 entries out of Lake Effect Autosport that did not advance into the playoffs this season. Their teammate, Alexander Rowe, however, did. Monaco and Turner looking to at least make a bit of a statement here tonight, as they are looking for a 1-2 finish for Lake Effect Autosport. A mile and a quarter left to go here for the rookie Eric Monaco, who is chasing a historic milestone. Not only looking for his first victory of his Duracell Next Gen Cup Series career after coming into this season the defending winner on the Light Series, but also looking to be the first driver to have a Lights win and a Cup win. Through 3 and 4, nothing on his back bumper, nothing even in the same corner. Eric Monaco is going to lead 23 laps. He'll start from the pole, he'll finish P1. Eric Monaco takes the checkered flag at Gateway, first career win. Third rookie to go to victory lane. Third of our full-time rookies to garner a checkered flag. And Eric Monaco. Not in the playoffs, but this will be a career-defining moment for him as he takes the checkered flag for the first time in his young Duracell Next Gen Cup Series career. 1-2 finish with his veteran teammate Jesse Turner behind him in second. And Reggie Fogelman will be the highest finisher of our playoff contenders as he will complete the podium. Well, I guarantee you, with only 20 points separating all 16 of our playoff drivers coming into this first playoff race, there will be a lot of moving and shaking as far as positioning is concerned, especially around that 12th in the standings cut line. Our results are official as we take a look at them. A number of these drivers qualified well. Monaco was on the pole. Turner started up inside of the first 4 rows, as did Osborne, as did Benjamin Miles. Reggie Fogelman was one of the few drivers that was actually able to make forward progress, and a lot of that was based off of the undercut in pit road strategy. Levi McIntyre will be the second highest finishing of the playoff drivers, as he'll finish in 6th. Cody Lamas, good run there in 7th. Michael Norman, another playoff contender, in 8th. Hiccup Bush, 2 straight races that he has made here in his career that he has finished in the top 10. He had the 10th place at Kentucky and 9th place here tonight at Gateway. Man, he's got to make more races because he really knows how to close them out. And Caleb Fogler, who won this race 2 seasons ago, the inaugural winner here at Gateway, solid top 10 run. Pote drifted out of the top 10 late, as did Kyle Matthews. They'll finish 11th and 12th. Your regular season champion, Ryan Brommer, fought back for 13th. Casey Hoyt and Benjamin Snyder, the rest of the top 15. So we ended up having, 4 playoff contenders finish inside of the top 15. Only 3 of them inside of the top 10. Where did the rest of the playoff drivers finish? Well, Carson Gum was 16th. Eric Sadler battled back to finish in 17th. James Qualls was 21st. Alexander Rowe, 23rd. Nowhere close there to his Lake Effect Auto Sports teammates. Destin Bolin in 26th. Summer Henson in 28th. Matt Haas, 31st. Daniel Voiles was 33rd. Nick Gunther, 35th. RJ Bishop in 37th. And then Nathan Ormond, obviously damaged off the pace after being involved in that last caution, finishes the last car running in 40th. Connor Breton, Jessica Schulten, the only 2 drivers that finished out of the race. If I had to eyeball it, I think it's pretty obvious that Daniel Voiles, Nick Gunther, RJ Bishop, they would be below the cut line heading into next week, and more than likely Nathan Ormond's 40th place finish is going to put him below the cut line as well. So those will be drivers that will look to rebound next week at Road America. For drivers like Fogelman and McIntyre and Norman and Brommer, while they didn't win their way into the round of 12, they'll be sitting pretty with a bit of a cushion between themselves and that 12th in the standings cut line, and look to build off of that at next week's road course. But what a wild one here tonight. Our 3rd different rookie to go to victory lane this season, and as stated, history is made this evening. Eric Monaco, first driver to ever have a Light Series and a Cup Series win in his career. Our veterans weren't able to do it, and a lot of them have been moonlighting down there in the Light Series. So congratulations to Eric Monaco on his first career win. The battle between him and Summer Henson will continue to be hot and heavy for that Rookie of the Year honor, and they'll carry that into next week. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race here from Gateway. What a way to kick off the playoffs. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We showed you your full feature results, and these are what your standings and your playoff points look like as a result. That's the scenarios you're going to have heading into next week as we prepare for our final road course stop of the season. It's the first playoff race of the season for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers as we get ready for a Road America double header. But until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.